They are all around us, ordinary people who do extraordinary things to help others. They quietly lift people up by volunteering. They are 7 everyday heroes. Hi, I'm MITCH. 2018 will mark our 20th year of 7 Everyday Hero Stories. It all started in what may seem like an unlikely place, the Denver County Jail. I had heard of a woman in town who would go to the jail on her days off just to help people. So from January 1999, here is our very first 7 Everyday Hero story.
If she made a down payment of $87, what balance does she owe on the sofa?
Helping adults help themselves.
It's like you would subtract.
Good. Denver's adult learning source teaches hope. It's a place for adults to learn to read, write, do math, speak English, and get their GED diplomas.
Shows that there was a change.
And most importantly, there are no fees, no enrollment forms, no questions. All you need is a desire to learn.
The key value here is respect and reverence for the individual. I think that's it. And we see that, you know, with the staff and the tutors, and every student is important.
This dream of Sister Cecilia Linenbrink started back in 1964 in the basement of a Denver church.
Sister's very much of a pioneer. She developed a program when people didn't feel like giving adults second chances when they didn't finish school.
The program has blossomed, to say the least.
49,000 students have been through the program in 35 years.
At age 75, Sister Cecilia is still at it. She volunteers twice a week at the Denver County Jail.
It's basically the love of the people. That's why you do it. I mean, that's why I do it. So I try to help them to reach in and give them some hope and just be a little light to them. And that's about all we are, is a little light.
In the harsh, cold world behind bars, Sister Cecilia provides hope and courage.
Hi, Lorianne. How are you? Good to see you. Thought you dressed up today.
Thank you. How you been?
I'm just fine. Thank you.
Favorite color?
Is that your favorite color? So life's going okay, huh?
She reminds me of my mom. She always tells me, just keep the faith, you'll be okay.
What are you going to do with your life when you get out?
So she brightens up my day when I go to see her. And that's a good thing. Because a lot of times when you're in the jail system, you get depressed, you get discouraged. And you need people like her.
I think that if we had more people like Sister Cecilia, we'd have less people here in the institution.
After all these years, you could have retired and relaxed.
Oh, God help us, no.
You keep on going.
Oh, yes.
Why?
What would you do sitting? What am I going to do? I don't play golf. I don't know sports. Why would anyone want to just sit? Why would anyone ever want to retire? Why not use your mind and your heart to do what you can do for others?
Sister Cecilia has never grown tired of giving of herself.
And God gave me certain gifts, and why do we have them? I mean, a gift is not a gift until you give it away.
Last month, just a few weeks before her 93rd birthday, Sister Cecilia fell ill and she passed away. But we wanted to keep her story in this special because she has meant so much to us and the whole city of Denver. Our next 7 Everyday Heroes are not professional speakers, but they have a powerful message that everyone needs to hear. It's a story that is quite literally saving lives around the world.
Teen suicide is now the second leading cause of death in the United States for people your age. Suicide is not even about death. Suicide is not even about dying. That's the end result. What happens and what causes suicide and what suicide is about is pain. Broken-hearted kind of pain. Mike was your normal kid. He was a junior in high school going to school. He wasn't a troublemaker, running the streets, causing trouble. And you see, that's the leading group of kids that we're losing.
Because you see, the night that Mikey died, just before he shot himself, he called 6 of his friends. Nobody knew what to do. Nobody realized that Mike could be in that much pain.
Would you tell my friends?
Dale and Dar Emmy come face to face with that pain all the time. The Mike they talk about committing suicide was their youngest son.
We had driven in the driveway at 11:52, and Mike's note was timed at 11:45. We missed Mike by 7 minutes, or less if you think of it. Yes, there have been a lot of times right after Mike's death that I tried to bargain with the power to be to let me give my life right here, right now, this instant. I would give my life if I could buy 8 minutes, or 7 minutes and 30 seconds, 7 minutes and 10 seconds, so Mike could have his life back. And I can't, but I can help you.
Dale and Dar traveled to schools coast to coast. They talked to teens about ending life's pains responsibly.
If you're ever in this much pain, please don't do this. Please don't attempt, don't try, don't go there. Suicide is not an option. But what you can do is go talk to somebody.
Shortly after Mike's death, Dale and Dar quit their jobs and started the Yellow Ribbon program. Their lifeline for the kids is a small card. On one side is a cry for help, in case the words aren't there. On the back, tips on how to help a friend in crisis.
We don't ask any of you to be a counselor. What we do ask you to be is a link, their link to the rest of their life.
The message is working.
I think you would be surprised the number of kids that carry those cards and carry extras.
There's always someone to talk to. It doesn't matter who you are or where you are, you can always ask for help.
There's nothing in life that's so harmful out there to make you take your own life, to hurt your family and your friends, because it's just not worth it. Life's too short.
In just 4.5 years, the Yellow Ribbon program has grown from schools in Westminster to all 50 states and more than a dozen foreign countries. It is credited with saving more than 1,500 lives.
Do you ever see yourself not doing this?
Not at all. As long as there's another kid, another school, another parent who needs us to talk, as long as there's other survivor parents like us and survivor siblings who need to know that it's okay to be back in society, we're going to be there.
But if I ever had a moment when I doubted, all I have to do is pick up another letter or answer the phone. The kids respond so incredibly.
I lost my best friend, my hero, Mike. And I don't want anybody else to ever be in that situation. But with me having to ask for help many times in these last 4 years, it doesn't make me any less of a man because I've had to ask for help. It makes me human.
Dale and Dar's Yellow Ribbon campaign is now in all 50 states and 47 foreign countries. It is credited now with saving more than 5,000 lives. When we come back, a 7 Everyday hero takes us and some very deserving kids on a field trip of Colorado. Welcome back to our tribute to 19 years of 7 Everyday Hero stories. Back in 2009, we met JOCELYN Miller, and we'd heard that she has a knack to get hundreds of young people moving to the right beat. Denver's East High School drumline follows the beat of a special volunteer. That's her helping drum during practice. She's not a teacher, and her son has already graduated East High, but she's here every week giving her time. That's JOCELYN Miller.
She does everything for us. She has been the backbone of our drumline.
When the students wanted something to do after school and thought of forming a drumline, they immediately turned to JOCELYN. She's known in Denver as just having a heart for young people and their families.
It makes me feel that somebody actually cares about us, that we're just not there alone. We talk about it a lot, but she's like my mom away from home. She is our mother. You know, she would do anything for us.
So this house was your dad's house, right?
Yeah. JOCELYN also stays busy drumming up support for families. In 2005, she established a family education center named after her late father, Robert A. Miller.
Yeah. And so who comes by here? Who stops by?
Just about everyone. I've got families who are sometimes in crisis, so they have to do court-ordered parenting workshops, parenting classes. Parents automatically, when a child...
Fellow early childhood educators like Ty Johnson also stop by for advice.
There are no reservations when it comes to JOCELYN helping someone else. She just does it.
JOCELYN has been recognized by the mayor of Denver for her can-do attitude, and she passes that encouragement on to parents, young and old.
Everything they do is an example for their children. So if they give up, what are you teaching your children?
JOCELYN's lessons on persistence have certainly paid off for the East High Drumline. They performed at the Democratic National Convention last year, and the kids will tell you, without JOCELYN, there would be no drumline.
She is the East High Drumline.
Today, instead of the drumline, JOCELYN helps dozens of families through her home workshops, and HOME stands for Healthy Outcomes, Meaningful Environments. Well, our next memorable 7 Everyday hero we met back in 2007, and when the nomination came in, we thought there might be a typo. But make no mistake, what this outstanding volunteer does is nothing short of incredible.
Colorado has a lot to offer, like the Durango and Silverton Narrow Gauge Railroad, the Great Sand Dunes, the Royal Gorge, Mesa Verde National Park. But imagine living in Denver and never seeing any of these, or never even leaving Denver.
Yeah, I haven't been to any of those things.
This is it's a great little neighborhood, but it's not high income, obviously, and the kids don't get a whole lot.
In the heart of Denver's Globeville neighborhood is Garden Place Academy. Also in this economically challenged area, John Modig's print shop.
A lot of smart children down here, and I just hate to see them get lost.
So for the last 9 years, John Modig has taken the entire 5th grade class from Garden Place on a 4-day field trip.
We go from Alamosa, we visit the sand dunes, Royal Gorge Bridge. We go over to Mesa Verde, we spend a day there. We spend a day on the Durango Silverton train.
And perhaps the best part for the 50 to 80 students each year?
This trip is all expenses paid.
They're really fun because I haven't done anything like this before. It was kind of weird being away from home from my parents.
But you had some fun.
Yeah, it was really fun.
It's like once in a lifetime, maybe.
The trip costs between $13,000 and $20,000 each year. John Modig pays for it all.
Because if I was going to go on a super vacation, I would have to say it's that 4-day field trip.
He's a very beautiful man, and he's very generous. I think he's a kind, caring gentleman with a heart of gold. I wish I could be like him when I grow up.
Still to come, we'll meet a Nevada woman making military members on the front lines feel right at home. Welcome back. Tens of thousands of U.S. servicemen and women overseas are carrying with them a little piece of home. It comes from Colorado and our next 7 Everyday hero.
Now you guys need to support this and make sure that it doesn't touch the floor.
Every good scout knows how to properly fold our nation's flag. The boys of Troop 231 have had a lot of practice.
So, like, do I tell them my name and address?
If you put your name on there, we have Boy Scout Troop 231 on the other side with the mailing address, so they could write to us.
The boys are participating in the Pocket Flag Project, the brainchild of Troop Committee Chairman LaWanda Ford.
It's an effort for us to get little pocket flags into the pockets of each of our troops on the front lines.
LaWanda got the idea after meeting a veteran who carried a small flag in his pocket during the Vietnam War.
And I said, how would you guys like to fold 100 small flags? And we'll give those to some deploying troops.
That was in the fall of 2001.
And since then, I have personally shipped over 900,000 flags to volunteers to be folded to go to our frontline troops.
Today, there are scouts folding flags in all 50 states.
Plus Cuba, Germany, and Japan, where we have Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts who are dependents of military stationed in those countries.
I enjoy being able to take a part in my country and support our troops.
So what do you think? Are these easy to do?
Kind of.
Yeah? How long have you done these?
For a couple of years.
It's about flag etiquette. It's about patriotism. But perhaps most importantly, the Pocket Flag Project is about making a connection with those serving our country overseas.
Some of these kids have gotten letters and have had thank yous come back from the troops.
He sent me a letter telling me where he was and how he thought of scouting.
Since that story first aired back in 2007, LaWanda says there have been more than 2.4 million pocket flags sent across the world.
Anything we can't use, we do recycle.
Nothing goes to waste at Tech for All. The nonprofit takes old computers, cleans up the hard drives, and gives the computers away.
1,104 as of today.
Rose Keating is a computer programmer. She founded Tech for All back in 1999 when she gave her old computer to some kids who didn't have one.
I think if they could afford to buy one, they wouldn't want what I have.
Rose manages to work full-time and still volunteer at Tech for All every Friday and Saturday. It's important, she says, because computers have become as fundamental as a pencil in school.
And I'm not about to stand in front of a child and say, you can't have a computer, you can't make a choice, you can't have a life.
Rose can't do it alone. The Gamble family, owners of the Art Craft Sign Company, donate the space.
She said to me, she said, God gave me a gift, and this is my way to serve.
And volunteers with the Nostalgia Group, a day program for adults with developmental challenges, help sort through all those donated computers.
I'm wrapping speaker cords and untangling speakers.
Rose is always looking for more volunteers because she won't rest until those who can't afford a computer get one.
A Denver 7 viewer saw that story back in 2007 and called to offer some larger, free warehouse space to Rose. Well, that resulted in Tech for All going from 1,000 computers given away back then to more than 11,000 today.
Give me bop, 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 half step, boom, give me that right.
Boxing, like life, can be unpredictable, so it helps to have someone like Tomas Gallegos showing you the way.
You know, a lot of these kids we get in here, we bring them in here because they don't got no confidence in themselves. They've been bullied.
For the last 5 years, Tomas has volunteered to help lead a longtime Denver boxing gym called House of Pain. He's ideal for the job because the goal here is to stay in shape and stay out of trouble.
I'm an old gang member. I used to be in gangs. I've been shot. I've been stabbed. I lived that life. But the thing is that I don't want to see these kids do that.
It kept me out of drugs, gangs, streets, pretty much out of everything. And I've been focused since I was 4. And I've been motivated, confident that I'm going to go big.
You know, we're not trying to teach these kids to beat up each other or hurt each other. We're just trying to teach them self-discipline, respect, you know. There you go.
The House of Pain accepts anyone from age 7.5 on up. If they can't pay a monthly nominal fee, Tomas covers them. No one is turned away.
A lot of these kids come in here and you just see the hurt in their eyes and it just breaks your heart, man. And once they start doing good and they're moving around, you're high-fiving them and hey, right on, good job, man. You just see their little faces bright up, man. It's the best thing for me.
The House of Pain has strict rules. No bullying and no fighting outside the ring. And Tomas holds everyone accountable because he cares.
He's really on everyone, but it's more like a fathery way. Like
God's blessed me. I asked him for my purpose, and he put me in this gym.
Now, Tomas is still giving his time and still using money out of his own pocket to help those kids. In fact, he's opened a second House of Pain boxing gym in the Park Hill area. Still to come, we're headed to the Wash Park Boathouse to meet our next 7 Everyday hero. In 2001, we met Eric Kahn. He shares a frightening chapter in history that he experienced, and audiences have been glued to his every word for more than 26 years.
I am here today to bear witness to the Holocaust.
It is a painful story most of us have only experienced through the pages of a book or in a movie. Eric Kahn lived it.
As you step into your freight boxcar, you notice there is no food, there is no water, there are no sanitary facilities of any kind.
At a time when most children are being nurtured by their mothers, 2.5-year-old Eric Kahn and his family were forced from their home by Nazi soldiers. Soon after, Eric was separated from his parents.
So within a few short minutes, you say goodbye to your dad, goodbye to your mom. You have no idea if you will ever see either one of them again.
Eric was smuggled out of harm's way thanks to the French resistance and hidden in a basement for nearly 2 years. His parents were sent to Auschwitz.
If you were sent to the left by a Nazi officer, it meant you would die that day. My mother, at the age of 29, was sent to the left. And she died that day. She had never committed a crime. She had never hurt anyone. She was killed because she was Jewish.
Eric Kahn has volunteered to share his story with students for nearly 15 years.
Before I go on, the question is, did this really happen? And the answer is yes. This happened to millions and millions of people.
He considers it his duty to explain history as he lived it.
And I'll continue to do it for as long as I'm alive, as long as I get asked.
Eric's message is sinking in.
You shouldn't judge a book by its cover. You should get to know the person before you start judging them and stuff.
And it's nice to, hear from someone who's already experienced it.
Eric still speaks to schools and civic groups. In fact, more than 200,000 people have now heard his story.
The tranquil sights and sounds of Washington Park are familiar to many in Denver. But as day gives way to night, the old boathouse comes alive.
American dances, Israeli dances, and I teach Russian dances, Polish, you name it.
Shakur Vasano, or Sugar, is the dance instructor.
Go in the back.
Sugar hasn't always been so lively or so free. Born in Yugoslavia, Sugar spent his early teenage years as a captive in a Nazi concentration camp. That experience motivates him to do what he can to break down the walls of hate, and he does it through dance.
I'm trying to tell people all about international things.
Sugar uses folk dancing to bridge the gap between cultures.
This is what I do, and I teach them the dances from different countries, and they all have fun.
Sugar's zest for life and dancing are infectious.
He's very much alive. When he's teaching folk dancing, there isn't anybody like him in town. He's just so great.
Makes you feel good. After a long, hard day, you just come and you hear the music and you forget about everything, and it's fun.
It's the kind of fun the whole family can enjoy together.
Because there's so few things that we can do together these days, from tiny children 6 years old up to grandmas like me. And we can dance together, and it's fun.
Best of all, it's free. Sugar has been teaching folk dancing here every Thursday for 29 years, and he has never charged anyone a penny. His personal reward is bringing people together and making the differences in cultures a world away seem a little closer, so that no one else will ever have to experience what he lived through.
And people should be loving people today, because that's the only way we can survive, or my grandchildren can survive.
You can still find Sugar at the Wash Park Boathouse every Thursday night, May through September. And next year will be Sugar's 48th year of teaching dancing and our 20th year of sharing inspirational stories like his. You can nominate a volunteer to be a 7Everyday hero at thedenverchannel.com. For all of us here at Denver 7, I'm MITCH JELNIKER. Thanks for watching.